Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Ragini Bhake. I am a consultant endocrinologist at Symbiosis University Hospital and Research Center. Today I'm going to talk about the upcoming festival season, and it's particularly important if you're a diabetic. I mean, I've lived in England for 20 years and there was only one festival that they waited for all year. But India is rich in its culture and heritage and rich in its festivals and food. So you know what I'm going to talk about. Now, the first thing festivals bring about is a routine change, and that's where all the fun is. But it's important that you do certain or bear in mind certain key things about the routine change. Make time for exercise, it's important. Get it out of the way in the morning. If you've done that, you'll feel better and it'll help your diabetes as well. The next thing is about keeping your meal times as close as possible to your usual times. And also bear in mind, if you're able to plan your meals, if you're able to plan your food intake for the day, for example, azmi chakli khana, chuda khana or whatever, can you actually plan it in that you're going to eat that, and you may trade it with a slightly smaller meal size, or vice versa if you're not a snack person. So if you think about these key things, it will help your diabetes, and every little you do will help. Now about food, which is the most important thing. Obviously there's lots of it, and a lot of Indian food, and all of Indian food is calorie dense. So there are some key things I want you to think about. First thing is, eat in moderation. All these things are now available right throughout the year. So it's no longer an occasional activity, pardon the pun. So if it is available around the year, you should be able to enjoy it multiple times and not just at festival times. So eat smaller portions. Again, as I said before, if you can compensate your meal size with snacks or vice versa, that will be great. Can you choose nuts or dry fruits at some points rather than have the calorie dense snacky items? And think about being able to enjoy these for longer time to come, several years to come, because you want to look forward to not having to restrict this completely or limit yourself completely sometime in the future, paying a price for what you might end up doing now. When you're cooking or buying or making these items, eating them, think about, can you make it with 30% less sugar? Can you make each item, modak, karanji, whatever you're making, can you make it 30% smaller? Can you have less of those? You know, the 10th laddu is not going to give you lasting memory that the first won't. You don't need to have so much. So eat in moderation. When you're making it, could you use natural sugars instead of processed sugar? And when you're making it at home, you know, don't make it for the whole neighborhood, make it for a household. Just make smaller items or less in quantity so that you don't end up concept. Now this is about feasting. What about fasting? All of our fasting items are carbohydrate rich. In fact, all of our food, most of our food is carbohydrate rich. All carbohydrates turn into sugar. Some do slowly, some do fast, some do more, some do less, but they all turn into sugar. So think about how much and what you're going to have. Talk to your doctor about, do you need to change anything in terms of your food intake and or your medicines, okay? Finally, about alcohol. If you drink, then the following section applies to you. Alcohol is treated by the body as pure sugar. Particularly cocktails, they have even more sugar in it. So it's as if you're consuming sugar. That's what the body sees when you're having alcohol. We are copying a lot from the West, particularly Europe. If you are going to drink like the Europeans. Drink smaller amounts, so in moderation, and if possible, drink after food, because the way the body handles it is much better. A caution note about alcohol is that it can cause unpredictable lows, and therefore it can make your diabetes control difficult. So have smaller portions. So in other words, if you have more than 2 drinks at a time, that can get unpredictable. Up to 2 drinks, reasonable, in one sitting or in one day preferably. Now finally, about your medicines. Take your medicines regularly, particularly if you're on combined insulin or meal related insulin. They must be taken in the way that your doctor has asked you to in relation to your meals. There are few medicines, tablets for diabetes, and some types of insulin that can allow you to make up for extra amounts that you're going to eat or irregular meal times or whatever. So there is some flexibility in some of your treatments, but not all of your diabetes treatments. So speak to your doctor, plan it in advance so that you know what you're going to do or how you're going to deal with any unpredictability, whether that's in the timing of your meal, the content of your meal, or the amount of your meal. So finally, I would say, have a happy Diwali, have a healthy Diwali, have a safe Diwali, and have a guilt-free Diwali.